All systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition of the Showdown Show. We've got Chicago at Minnesota. We're going to break it all down here in a little bit for you, go through everything as usual, the captains, the ownership, roster construction, position by position. We will get to the sim segment at the end. Before we get into it, want to remind everyone very quickly, this show is brought to you and presented by runthesims.com. If you go over to runthesims.com, use promo code SHIPIT, gets you 10% off any membership over there. They've got a bunch of great stuff going on beyond just the sim runner, which is what we use. But we'll get into all that. We'll do the sim segment at the end. We got a lot to talk about here. We got Justin Fields versus Dobbs. But more importantly, Hoopster, I'll bring you in. We've got the Chicago DST versus the Vikings DST. Got ourselves another showdown slate. What's going on, man? How you doing? How was your holidays?
Holidays went well. Back to the full grind here. Obviously, man, yesterday we kind of talked and felt like all over it, but just didn't have the right combinations at the end of the day. And we did our show, and I think we hit on a lot of key points. I feel like if people were watching that show yesterday, they definitely had an opportunity to make some money, because the cores and everything on the website aligned with basically what you needed to have success yesterday. And then we get to the showdown site. We have two of our members win $120,000 at top prize. Absolutely love to see it. Our guy D Dry, again, just on a heater. I mean, just an absolute heater that I've never really seen before. I mean, it's truly incredible. Wins the million, wins $130,000 the week before that. Just continues to absolutely smash. And then, how would you even pronounce that? Yagi wins. Had a big win. Yeah, Yagi. All right, Yagi. So he had a big win. A lot of success for the members in the SHIPIT team. And tonight's game, Bears, Vikings, and the defenses continue to get the job done on Showdown. I was never, advocating to not play defenses. I mean, but defense and the captain, I think, is when you take it when you take it a step too far, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've had some late stuff happen. Like last night, I know. There was, I think, because obviously Keenan Allen was crushing last night, but at first people were worried the Ravens D would be up there. We get the late run from Zay Flowers to cap it off. He obviously should go down, but who cares? Why not just take it to the house and get all the points? It's fine. A couple notes. I will go through this quick before I bring my man Title in. And Title, you're going to get the conversation in the chat today. You're rocking the SHIPIT hat. The people that thought you didn't have one, they're going to see it. But I should note a couple quick things. We have a monthly giveaway today for sure. We're going to be giving away a monthly membership. One of our members got to set up with another one, so we're going to be giving that away. We've got another couple giveaways down the road coming. But if you go to our YouTube station at SHIPIT Nation, you can go there. We're less than 300 subscribers away. It's free to subscribe to that channel. All of our shows are free. You can go over there now, get involved. That will get you in for the draw for the annual membership. So we are going to be giving away a one-year membership. Hoop, real quick, I'm going to break it down. You just talked about it, but last night, we had a great Thanksgiving weekend. It started last Monday, leading into the holidays. Our guy Mark F was the second Millie Maker winner that we've had just in the NFL season alone. And then you go look here. Last night, we had two guys involved in the chop. You mentioned it, D-Dry and Yagi, but Yagi had already won $20K on Thanksgiving. Comes back excited, waits it out till a score actually goes final at 116.98. Got the logo up for us. Yagi 123. So he crushed it. D-Dry, this is back-to-back weeks showing up in the two-hole, saying, you're not going to have all the fun without me. Last week when Mark won the Millie, he won $100K in the two spot here. This week he tied with Yagi up top. Crazy, a $50K lineup with just a four-way chop overall. Three-name show here, but four ways total. Our guy Raul won a $555 Millie ticket off a $25 satellite. We talked a lot about satellites, Hoop, in our education course. I'll bring that up in a second for another note, but turned it into a sixth place finish for $20,000. K-Craps, another guy on just an absolute tear over the last 2 years. He was the co-winner at the NBA Live Final for FanDuel last season. He picked up his fourth Live Final FanDuel seat. Hoop, you've got one. Our guy Hamwich has one. This is his fourth that he got. And on Friday, he also won his, now it's an online final, but he did win a seat to that for FanDuel. 7 Golf Guy beat Street Bully Billionaire, crushed. Last day for Turkey 20, we'll get to in a second, but want to note this quickly too. I mentioned the education course. You go over to our NFL education course, the Showdown section. This is a Showdown show. So we're working on it behind the scenes as we speak. We're going to get this out to you before Thursday. But if you go to the site right now, go to shipitnation.com. Even if you're not signing up, using the last day to use the code Turkey20, sign up with your email. Here, it's free to do. You just put in your email and press sign up. You are going to be given an email with a special link to the Showdown course. We're going to split out the Showdown segment. It's about 40 minutes of just Hoop and I breaking down all our strategies and success that we've had with the Showdown game. There's a lot of slates still to go. There's a lot of slates upcoming during the playoffs, leading right up to the big game, as they like to call it on DraftKings, where you're going to be able to get involved in the Super Bowl Showdown slate. So definitely go over to shipitnation.com, use that email list sign up, get your email in there. We will email you out later this week the code to get involved. Title, left you waiting long enough, my friend. Go off of this. What's going on, man? How you doing this week?
Yeah, doing well. The hat people mentioned, I do have a SHIPIT hat indeed. You would see the SHIPIT hat worn a lot more if that man top left, the Tambo, that SHIPIT hat, if he sent me that one, I'd wear it a lot more. I'm picky with how the lids fit. Not the biggest fan of this one. I'm a big fan of what this says. So I got to mix it in once in a while.
Stay tuned.
Okay. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
How was your day yesterday? I know it was tilting for some. I have my own tilt story. I told it on the review show earlier. How'd you do yesterday, Title? And any thoughts over the weekend? Anything you bring into today before we get to this Showdown slate?
Yeah, I think I made a little bit. I mean, I got crushed last Sunday, so I know it's much better than that. I had a Lotto Olave. We talked about that on the show. Man, I thought I had a lot of good teams with him. Hurts got there, but A.J. Brown didn't. So those teams couldn't get all the way to the top. Josh, I mean, if you listen to the show, you played both sides of Josh game. You played C.J. Stroud. You played Trevor. Played some of the Indy game. You had a good day. So I thought we were on a lot of stuff. Members had a lot of success. Showdown, though, man, incredible. And you guys talking about D-Dry, I don't know if I've seen a run quite like this. So keep enjoying it, D-Dry, because it's pretty insane what you're doing.
Is it a run or is it just skill now at this point? Because it's literally, I was saying this, I forget who I was telling this to, but it's like every slate, he's up there still. And then it's been in the $1,500 single entry. He chopped the 222 up the other night. It's 2 times now shipping this main one with good lineups. So obviously just playing really well. Head gets clear after a Millie Maker win. I know Hoop knows about that. So you can find your way around it. Some go downhill, some lift off and go uphill. He's part of the Ship It Nation crew. That's why he's going up. 3, 2, 1, lift off, baby. Let's go. You mentioned something too. The coach speak yesterday. We talked about this on the show. Bijan finally came through with the coach speak. Kieran Williams finally came through with the coach speak. And then Vrabel talking about Derrick Henry. It was the Henry versus Olave situation. I was like, man, I agree with you, but I think Henry, it just these guys they all lifted off as well. Big days for them, both sides of that game. I know OT hurt some, helped others. It's the way it goes, but that's why we got Showdown. If you haven't had a good week already, we always say that's so far. You still have tonight to get it back. If you want to get in the mix, get involved, go to shipitnation.com, use code Turkey20. It gets you in for the original introductory price of $49, which is like $1.50 a day. Just check it out for a month. If it's not for you, you're out. You can cancel it anytime. No problem whatsoever. Hoop, anything else you want to add? If not, you could take us into your grand scheme overview for this slate.
Last thing, we got the shipment of hoodies right here. I had the Ship It Nation one yesterday. I got the Sin logo, Nike hoodie. As you can see, very nice product. I'm organizing. This is your shipping department right here at Ship It Nation. You're looking at them, Hoopster. Organizing the shipment for tomorrow. If all goes as planned, we will get these puppies out tomorrow. So if you order today or tomorrow morning, you should have it by the week's end, by Friday. So now is the time. If you've been waiting, even the shirts, we have T-shirts, we got the hat. These hoodies are straight fire, though. I got 4 boxes in my garage. We got the Sin logo one. And then as you can see right here, Ship It Nation one. And these are the good ones. Nike swoosh here, got the hood, everything. I mean, these are the ones you want, very comfortable. Be seeing a lot of these on the shows. I'm going to get some mailed out to Tambo. And Title, he might not have the hat that he wants, but he's about to have the hoodie that he wants pretty soon.
Hey, I'm staying tuned, Hoop. I'm not abandoning the hat. Yeah, you got me excited.
Yeah. The note is here, if you go to the site, it's easy. You just go shop merch. We talked about it yesterday, pretty transparent as usual. We're selling them pretty much just over cost. So as much as we can get them to you, we wanted to get better quality. They're not all cotton. They're 70-30. So they're really comfortable, won't shrink on you, all of that. And then you got one with just the plain logo, nothing too serious. And then I kind of like the Sin logo actually pops. I always say this, the marketing side of me always says it. Like the Nike logo can get away with it because everyone knows the Nike logo is Nike. You see a check mark, you know Nike. No one knows that about us. It's a niche space, small. But if there's one time for this logo to pop, I think it's on a hoodie like this. It definitely stands out. Maybe people ask some questions. Definitely enjoy that. We are giving one away today as well to a member. So if you're a member watching this is fun for the members. You go on to our Twitter account at ShipItNation. You just have to repost, like, and comment hashtag ShipIt on the pinned tweet there that describes the night that we've had. We're 10 minutes in. The marketing spiel's down. Everybody knows that's how it goes. Hoop. We got Chicago at Minnesota. Decent total. It's not the 36s and things that you see. Two quarterbacks that can run it, go back and forth. Good. Pricing soft. I don't know if you take that as good or bad. I got some thoughts on that after, but you can kind of fit in what you want on this slate. $500K up top. A lot of great contests. Give me your thoughts on this slate, Hoop, this game. What's your first thoughts?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping Jefferson played. It would have made it, I think, a little more interesting, but he is out. And, what are we left with? Well, we're left with two running quarterbacks that have a lot of upside in Fields and Dobbs, and two guys that can kind of get it done without pass catchers. So maybe, do we play them in the captain without any pass catchers? Can we play them naked? That sort of thing. DJ Moore, he's back in our lives. And man, I haven't played him on these other showdown slates, but maybe I do play him in captain tonight. He's the one guy, again, when you look at the slate, you're like, man, 10-4 for DJ Moore. It's been like this every single time where he's kind of priced up. Today, I might be on him a little bit. Hawkinson, it's going to be a great play, 9K in the captain. But after that, it does kind of fall off. So, there's some cheaper guys we can play. We'll break it all down. But, the main thing, two similar quarterbacks, I'd say, Fields and Dobbs, in terms of what we expect. The defenses continue to be a hot talking point. They continue to get the job done, and they're cheap tonight. So I can guarantee you both these defenses are going to come in with substantial ownership. And again, it's going to probably be higher than what the industry is projecting in terms of the overall ownership. People are seeing these defenses continue to be on the winner. So that's, I think, a pretty big talking point on the slate. Again, what do you do with the defenses? Kickers are kind of in that upper 5K or lower 5K, upper 4K range, which we've basically seen all season long with Joseph and Santos here tonight. When you look at a Bears and Vikings game, you're going to say, oh, this isn't really an exciting game. But I think for fantasy purposes tonight, I think it is actually an exciting game. I'm excited to watch it and excited to sweat the lineups along the way.
That's actually kind of the key part you said at the end. Actually, for some reason, I don't know what it is. Maybe Title has thoughts, but I'm actually excited to watch this one. I just feel like we have two very similar teams that can end up playing, a back and forth. And it is in Minnesota, which is nice. It's not going to be at Soldier Field, outside, freezing cold, all this that can really slow it down and mess it up. I think we actually could see some back and forth. Our guy Tweezy, appreciate you. Heroes always supports us. Think it's going to be a shootout. Love Stars, I like this one too. Hope this game pops. Me too. And then Scotty, the Discord alone, and Scotty's in there, says is worth the $49. That's a key note. So I brought this up quick, and then I'll get Title's thoughts. It's just a note. Somebody asked me this the other day. If it wasn't more clear, we're always open about everything we offer except Discord. A big red bold scratch out of Discord. When you sign up for just a weekly, you do not get Discord right now. For $25 more, you get in for the month and get it at $49, which includes Discord. And then you get the courses, the slate plans, the player pools, the core reports, all the tools and the rankings that we use across multiple sports of NFL, NBA, PGA, MMA, NHL, projections, ownership, all kinds of stuff that you need. And if you want to use an optimizer, we've got a partnership as well with the Solver. You can end up getting it for one sport for $35 or $49. You can mix it however you want, but you can stay under $100 and get in on the action. Title, your thoughts on this game, my friend, and anything else you have to add just on a grand scheme of things, how you see the slate playing out.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I think a lot of it has to do with your last point, Tambo, is it's in a dome. It's not in Chicago. It's not in Soldier Field. Because if so, I don't think I'd be excited for this one. I'm really curious what the total would be. Like people are saying it's 24 degrees. That's Wisconsin. Can confirm it's cold in Illinois. You see Hoop hasn't taken off a winter hat past 2 weeks. It's cold there. It's cold here. I'm freezing in Arizona, so I can't imagine there. So finally in a dome, two athletic quarterbacks that can run. Tambo, you mentioned pricing soft, and you go to both sides of the ball. I mean, you go to the running back room. Ty Chandler, Alexander Madison, both guys going to be in the rotation. Foreman's out, but Herbert and Roshan Johnson both going to be in the equation. So I don't know exactly what
we know something about those guys. Remember, we had this conversation last time. That the best part is when Herbert's out, we got those two guys. We feel like we know how to handle them, and I always feel solid building lineups on these Chicago slates when it's more condensed in that spot. We've only had it 2 or 3 times this season, main slate and showdown, but I like that actually.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I thought I did some wordplay that I went right above my head that you got, but yeah, so I'm not making rules. This Bears, both these teams I feel like have been on primetime games more than they should have, but especially the Bears. I'm not done looking.
No, now I'm just messing with you. Now I'm just messing with you.
I know you are.
Keep going.
I know you are, but I'm not making rules with Chandler Madison. I'm not making rules with Roshan and Herbert. Pass catchers on both sides of the ball. And yeah, the last thing, DJ Moore. I know I like me some DJ Moore, and he definitely likes having Justin Fields back at the helm with them. So I'm excited for this one too. And yes, freezing in Arizona, indeed. It is cold, man.
Come on. If you want me to have a rhyme for you tonight and you want to know the DJ Moore whisper tonight, if you want to be poor, play DJ Moore.
Gosh.
That's the one. That might be the one.
Well, I was hoping you guys both endorsed him, so I could just plug him in. You guys saw yesterday. I'm willing to make the shift mid-show. Tambo, rightfully so, got me off Patrick Mahomes mid-show. Got me some more Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, which was nice to see. So, I was hoping you had a little love for DJ Moore so I could feel better about potentially
I'll be fully transparent and honest. I just like that rhymed. I'm in a good mood today. I don't even know why, but messing with the title. I do have some DJ Moore. It just sounded so good. It was like that's what you could say if you were off. If you want to find out who I'm actually on, you can get the slate plan. It's actually up already. Everything except my cores are done. I'm feeling very good about the slate. We'll talk through it. I'll give you all my thoughts that I can think of, which is usually a lot. I talk plenty. So we'll get right to it, Hoop. Let's do the captain conversation first. I'll tee it off and say this, I thought me and you were going to be aligned. I'm finally coming around to these quarterback captains. I don't think there's been a slate all year where I've played both quarterbacks at captain at the percentage clip that I plan on doing it tonight. I usually never even play them, or maybe I pick one. This is big for me tonight. I'm definitely playing both quarterbacks up top.
Yeah, it makes sense. A lot of ways for them to get their soft pricing. Like if they get, I don't know, like 20, between 20 and 25. I think based on the rest of the guys in this game, they have a very legitimate chance of being the captain that you need. And so many outs with these guys. Like I've alluded to a couple times with the rushing stuff, they actually have some competent pass catchers to throw the ball to. Like Fields has been good with DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. The Vikings, obviously, Dobbs would have been better suited with Justin Jefferson, but he's been fine with Addison. You have Osborne, Hawkinson. I like Brandon Powell as well. So they have guys they can throw the ball to. I think it makes a lot of sense on this slate. Both quarterbacks, I view them very similarly. Dobbs is, $1,200 cheaper. He probably gets more ownership for that reason. Maybe not. Maybe it ends up being pretty similar between the two, but I think they're both firmly in the conversation for captain plays tonight.
Yeah, I like that call. Was there anybody else you had up there?
Yeah. So, DJ Moore is every single time he's on one of these slates, he comes in what looks to be overpriced, and he smashed that. I think it was against the Panthers. I want to say just absolutely went off first quarter. Like if you didn't have him in captain, you're drawing dead. The ownership on him, it tends to follow regardless. And I think it will follow today because it is kind of a softer pricing slate. We do have some cheap guys you can play. But I like him better with Fields in there. So I think I will probably have some of him. Hawkinson is always a guy that, it's just perfect for DK scoring with all the potential targets and receptions. And then he gets the red zone stuff too. So I think he's fine. Addison he's 8,200. If you play him in the captain, he's 12.3. He's flashed a lot of upside. Cole Kmet, I think, is an interesting play. I don't think this is a slate where I don't mind going cheaper, like another random guy like Brandon Powell. He's 2,000. You put him in the captain. He's 3K. I think I'd get behind some Brandon Powell. It seems like when they start going to him, not like they're peppering him, but he has the ability to rack up a lot of time. I mean, he's got 5 targets, 4, 3, 3, 3, 5. Like, they're throwing the ball to him. If he finds the end zone once, and he could have a big game. So I think he's a guy, if I'm going cheap, that I potentially play up there. But I don't have a lot of interest in like the running backs or anything in the captains. Just the quarterbacks and pass catchers really for me here tonight.
Yeah, Title, did you have other thoughts? Because I don't have love for the cheap captains today. Again, the main thing I looked at was I guess I'll give another point first, but like the slate, the way the pricing sets up, you can just build all-star lineups for what could happen. Like if this, then that, it's my favorite saying. Like that's the thing I'm seeing tonight, where it's like any cheap captain that goes up top, I can easily flip it to someone who projects way better in the flex and still be able to fit it. And it's like the smallest change somewhere else. You're not really breaking anything. So I'll ask you about the cheap captains. You can give your full thoughts on the captain. And then I am curious too, any takes, someone mentioned this in the Discord earlier, like I said, always good stuff being thrown around there, but like about Hawkinson, practiced full Saturday. But before that, there was a minor rib injury. And then even last week, like Josh, I'm not expecting Josh Oliver to do this again, but they did go away from him last week. I'm not sure if that all bleeds together, but that is of note because Hawkinson always gets a little love. And I like Hawkinson too. I just want to get your take on that. So anything on those angles and then your captain thoughts in general.
Yeah, I mean, Hawkinson was definitely banged up. I feel like the last 2 weeks for sure. Last week for sure, they said they're going to play him sparingly. He played in pretty much all the passing downs, not much as the running downs. And I mean, he was down on the field for 2 minutes, came back in the game. So I believe he's hurt, but he has had a long week. And because he did practice, I'm not too worried about and won't dock it. As far as my captains, I think a lot of it has to do with Brandon Powell. I think that's a huge story in the slate because he's going to probably be 25 to 30% at a 2K player, which you don't see very often. A lot of these guys we talk as full punts, and they're 10%, 12% still in solid spots. I think Powell, I mean, he projects very similar to like the defenses and the kickers that are 2,000 more. So what you do with him in the flex, I think, determines a lot what I'll be doing at captain. And I don't like Powell. I think I can get different in other ways. Salary is very loose. There's enough other people that rotate in. Equinemius St. Brown, Tyler Scott, Josh Olivers. You can play kickers or D, where I feel better about eating more chalk captains, and I can get different a little bit in the flex. I like both quarterbacks. Both have a ton of rushing upside. You can play them naked. I mean, Fields can go out there 100 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, because there's so many ways to pair them, or you can play them with 2 or 3 pass catchers. Because you can play them in so many different ways, I think it'll be easier to get different playing them at captains instead of if you play Stafford, everyone wants to play 2 pass catchers with them because that makes a lot of sense. I like these Vikings pass catchers, not really Powell as much, but I like the Addisons, the Hawkinsons. I'm fine with some Oliver in the flex, not much at the captain, the Osborns, because you do get some leverage off of Chalky Powell in the flex, and they all have a ton of upside. Dobbs looks good. Dobbs can move the ball. Playing at home, favorites, pretty good team total. So I like that side more than the Bears side because I really just like DJ Moore because that's been Fields' guy. I think Komet's fine, Mooney, whatever. I won't be playing them as much in the captain. I'll be playing them more in the flex. So both quarterbacks, I like DJ Moore. He's been Fields' guy for the Bears. And then I like the pass catchers on the Vikings. Madison, Herbert, them. I guess it's fine. Madison's going to be really low owned. It is a tough matchup, though. I prefer the pass catchers. I don't think running backs are crazy, though. I'm with you, though. I don't love the cheap captains as well.
Yeah, I guess that would be my thing. I would rather find like a balanced version of it. Plus, if you put Powell up top, I would leave a lot of money. Like you can get away with it. We've seen this work on multiple slates. I just think that's going to be, you can fit all the dudes then. We know who the dudes are. It's going to lead to some very similar builds. I think tonight, this is my take. One of the tidbits from the slate plan that I've already put up on the site is that I think we're going to see, look, I'm not saying you can't get a unique or less duplicated lineup winning the main tonight, because if things go, hopefully that goes that way because I could be involved in that. What I'm saying is I think we're going to see a lot more heavily duplicated lineups tonight because everything looks good. You think you got the nuts, and you'll have FOMO. Like you won't be able to delete a guy or drop him down and say, can't do that because it just looks so good on paper that you're going to just want to run with it. So I definitely think that. I think the defenses are not, I'm not playing them at captain as much. I think I might try the Vikings out in a small number of lineups, but I also think you can play Fields captain lineups with the Vikings D. Sure, I shouldn't say you can. We know this. You can every slate. I'm saying I think that's really viable today. I think it makes a lot of sense because Fields can just be far and away the number 1 captain, but then the Bears can still, the Vikings can still find some angles in against him. So I definitely like that angle. And then the mid-tier guys, like, I guess Addison, Cole Kmet, Herbert, maybe if you're playing Chicago wins or not. Herbert. I would say Foreman's out. Herbert, where if you're playing Chicago wins lineups, then stays in the mix. That's what it is. As long as they're within 7 points, Herbert's been more involved. It's when they go down. So if like in Minnesota 4-2s, I might land on Roschon Johnson, or you could do like a 5-1 with a Roschon Johnson because you're thinking now Minnesota's really putting up the points and they're coming back. So just some of my thoughts up top. But let's talk about this hoop. Let's talk about this next spot, running back in general. I mentioned the 2 guys for Chicago, and then also the other side we still got to talk to because Ty Chandler got into the mix last week quite a bit, actually. And I know Madison was still involved enough, and even box score watchers or game log watchers, I should say, are going to think, well, Madison's still pretty good here. Like that still looks fine. But Ty Chandler really was heavily involved. So how are you seeing both sides of the ball at the running back position?
Yeah, I don't really love the position at all for the slate, to be honest with you. I mean, for all the reasons that we like the quarterbacks is I guess the reason why we like the quarterback so much is the rushing upside and stuff. That's just going to take away from these guys. And I don't love the prices. Like, Ty Chandler at 5,800, there's a lot of guys right around there that he has to outscore to be the guy. And, he's got a part-time role at best, and 5,800. I don't think I'll be getting there all that much. Alexander Madison, 7,400. Like you said, yeah, people are going to look at the box score on him and say, yeah, I want to be in on him, but I'm just pulling this up. It's not pulling up for me. All right, there we go. So yeah, I mean, outside of finding the end zone, he found the what game was it? I thought he got it a couple games ago, but yeah, 18 carries, 81 yards. Like, he's not very active in the passing game. Like, I don't know. I don't think I can pay the 7.4 for him. Herbert at 6.8, I guess would probably be the guy I would go to, but these are all flex plays. Like, I'm not playing any of these guys in the captain. Herbert gets a little bit more passing work, so I'd be fine with him. Not going to be like a core player or anything. And then, I guess my favorite might be Roschon Johnson at 3K, just because he's 3K. Powell, we talked about him. He's going to have some ownership, probably the highest owned guy below the defenses today. I'd be fine getting some Roschon Johnson at 3K flat. Doesn't really need to do all that much to get there at just like 3K. So I don't know. Overall, I don't really like any of these running backs. I'll play some of them, but it will not be at a high clip.
Yeah, and this stuff too, like, again, never in Showdown, ever. Especially yesterday, remember Jonathan Taylor? No way he could score on this Tampa Bay D. It's impossible. Jammed it. See you later. Bye-bye. Like, it's too easy. Like, again, don't care about that, especially in Showdown. It doesn't matter. Stop. Like, again, that's like a number one leak in people's game. We're playing DFS against the field. You see the same people up top, our guy D-Dry, others that we mentioned. There's a reason. Playing a game of Showdown, a game of DFS, we're not playing NFL matchups and figuring out the game board over there. You're building to a script, but you're building against the field. How can I leverage the field? You guys hear me talk about it all the time. At least that's how I play, and it's been working out pretty good. So I will answer this, though. I like this question. This is definitely talking about adapting to the game. Speaking of the game of DFS, the defenses are priced super cheap. And I saw that, I think we dropped the tidbit on this very show just a few weeks ago. Touchdowns are down by over 100 on the season to this point since the previous year. So it's not all points related, but I'm saying that's a factor into it. And why do you think touchdowns are down? There's a correlation with that too, of taking more sacks on third down or giving the ball away and turning it over in the red zone or end zone. All that leads to less points being scored, more defensive points being scored. And again, you have to adapt to the game. It's the same reason the question is being asked each week on review shows that we do and others around the industry of, feel like I'm seeing a lot more 2 tight ends now in these lineups. Why? They're still priced to nothing. When Zach Ertz is out on IR and freaking Kyler Murray's back and Trey McBride is 3,500, he's potentially going to put up 25 points. That's better than most wide receiver ones. And he's $3,500. Even the stone minimum running back cannot be less than 4K. So, like, that's where you have to adapt to the pricing for sure. Did you have something to add on that, Hoop, before our man popped up?
With the defense stuff, I don't want to go too deep into the weeds on it, but I mean, it's a lot of touchdown variance, man. These defenses have found a lot of touchdowns on these showdown slates.
Just wait though, because he's saying it's true. They're showing up with 5 points sometimes, 7 points. They're beating the.
You're saying it being in the winner, we just
showdown. He's talking about showdown.
Scoring's down. I mean, look at the totals every week in these games. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, last season, every week there's 3-4 games with a total of 50 or something. This year, like the big totals are 45, 46, 47. Like teams aren't scoring as much. There's no doubt about it. So if teams aren't scoring as much, defenses probably have some opportunities to score fantasy points, and lower scores will be showing up in the optimal as well.
Yeah. Speaking of D's, we got double D's in the building here. Our man Double D, he's like, this is very D. The second D stands for disappointing. I cannot believe this. Only 31 lineups. This has to be a season low for our man Double D. The holidays hit him, man. The holidays got this guy.
Yeah, that's a low number. He's got a lot of work to do. Hopefully, maybe he can get a couple hours of vacation time this afternoon and cut out early.
You don't need 150 to ship. You only get 60 done. You can ship with 60.
It's a good point. Yeah,
it's true. That's Bob. We talk about that sometimes too. Like if you're on the wrong stuff or the wrong script, or you're playing against the field, like when I always try and go against Hoop, usually doesn't end well, but it wouldn't matter if I had 1,000 lineups or 150. I wasn't getting there because I'm on the opposite of what you actually require to ship the slate. Title, I'll go back to you, man. Your thoughts at this running back position. I mean, Best Ball Bros got to be excited for this Ty Chandler potential getting late in the season. So all jokes aside, I think you know more about it and have an angle in on that. What are your thoughts on especially the Minnesota side? And then I'll talk through that Chicago stuff if you want.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have interest in every single running back for a different reason. Khalil Herbert's my favorite in a vacuum. He has the best matchup. It's a close spread. I think he's the best, most dynamic running back. I think if the game is close, he'll be on the field the most. Everything points to him, but then he's going to be the highest owned. He's going to be about 40%. The case for the other three running backs is where they're priced and who they're around. They're going to have to be low owned. Madison at 7.4K. Herbert is 6.8K, 600 less, projects better in a better spot. Addison's and Hawkinson's above them. Cole Kmet's even cheaper than Madison by 1,200, projects similar. So Madison's going to be forgotten right there. Now, Madison did outsnap Chandler by a little bit. The gap has been closing. I'm not confident on how that's going to go. Like Madison fumbled, I believe, which is also why Chandler got some more snaps. I think they might ride the hot hand. It is a tough matchup. It doesn't matter as much. You can catch passes out of the backfield. Can running backs against the Bears D, though? Madison and Chandler both can catch some passes. So for Madison, the appeal, very low ownership. You get leverage off of the Powell, some of these other Vikings. I'll be playing some there. Again, I prefer Herbert. If I had to go anyone at the captain, it would be Herbert since he's my favorite. It's not hard to get too overweight on Madison in the flex, though. Then you go to Roschon Johnson and Chandler. It's easy to make the case for Roschon Johnson. He's only 3,000. Powell is 2,000, so he'll be much more popular for 1,000 less. There's Bears D, there's Oliver, Vikings D also in that range, which isn't great. And you get leverage off a pretty chalky Herbert. If he doesn't get there, Roschon Johnson gets in the box. So I have a lot of interest in Roschon just from that price and the game theory standpoint there. And the last one with Ty Chandler, he's overpriced at 5.8K. Osborne projects better for 200 less. Cole Kmet, 400 more. Herbert more. Mooney and the kickers and all that. So you're overspending for someone that's going to be low owned, who's still going to be mixing in with Madison. It could be like close to a 50-50 split, something like that. His touchdown prop pretty solid at plus 250. All these guys' touchdown props are all pretty solid in the game. 3 of them will be pretty low owned. Herbert will be the highest owned, but my favorites. There's only so many options in Showdown, man. They're going to get the ball. They're at the goal line. Any of them can get the ball. So I'll probably have at least one running back in a good amount of my teams, but I'll be mixing and matching all of them. And I think playing the game flow is important, especially the Bears side, which I know you're about to get into.
Yeah, I think you brought up some good points. Again, notice what Title's doing is correlating all his thought process and decisions towards not just who his favorite plays are and who he drafted in best ball, as much as he sees a range that could potentially be overlooked and can find a way in on this slate to utilize that. Whether it works or not, those lineups go in the garbage if it doesn't work. But if it does work, that's where everybody else is tilted that, I never thought to play that guy or I didn't have any of them. Title knows that. That's why he's trying to leverage it and use it against the field in DFS. And speaking of D's again, DGAS, a little tidbit, don't give a shit, 33. She won the slate the other night with, what was that game? The Jets game with
Friday game.
Yeah, the Friday game, the Black Friday game, and she had a 5-1. This will tilt too. We probably saw it and knows, but a 5-1, and the one was just the defense on the other side. But she knew that the D. I mean, think about it. Who else is going to put up points on the Tim Boyle-led Jets? It kind of makes sense when you think about it to fit all the big dogs on the other side. I don't like this build tonight. I'm just being honest. I put this in the slate plan too. Like they're those Minnesota guys between all of them had man, I don't see any world where at least two of them don't show up. And I'm usually all for it. I'll have a few of these, but very little. And I got way more interest in the Minnesota 5-1s on that side if I'm going that way. And I get most to it anyway too. But the last point that she said, I was going to bring that up as well, was Hoop, you mentioned this correlates too. Like you said, last year kickers were much cheaper. They're hovering now, but they have started to go up in a lot of spots. Like you see Justin Tucker, what was he, almost 6K last night or something, and missing kicks all of a sudden. But yeah, defenses have got cheaper for sure.
Yep. No, I mean, definitely. I mean, that's one thing. A lot of times they just keep them all together. Kickers, defenses, all the prices were kind of in the same range. Now there's a little bit of a difference, less scoring. So, I mean, really, kicker should have been more expensive last year, the year before, when we were seeing like the 50 totals and the 52 total and 53s. Now we're lucky to get a game total that's 42 or 43, which is going to be less opportunities for a kicker. So it does make sense. I mean, maybe this is one of those situations where I need to adjust my mindset a little bit. I always talk about it in daily fantasy, gambling in general. You need to take a step back sometimes and reassess the situation that is at hand. Like, again, you see it all the time in DFS where guys get to the top. They're the top dogs, but they never adjust their play. They go in, play the same contest, play the same amount of entries, and their asses go broke, and you never see them again. Same situation here, maybe. Maybe we take a step back and start looking at these defenses a little bit differently. Look at the kickers a little bit differently. It's always important to adapt to ongoing situations that change.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what we're all about. We're always talking about trying to find ways to get better. That's why someone said today about the review show, are you going to have one for PGA? And I said, no, I'll be point blank, because first of all, like, not even as many people as probably should watch the review shows, because people just want the picks, the plays right now. They don't care about the process of actually getting better. That's what we're all about. So SHIPIT Nation is not going to be for everyone. We think it can be that if you actually want to get better and get strong at the game, but we focus on the process and look at that, the little things. Like you said with the defense, if you're waiting around all game for a 3K wide receiver who plays 25% of the snaps, well, what if he catches a touchdown? Yeah, like he might get one chance to have a ball go his way and get it. The defense is on every time they're on the field, there's a chance for them to have a takeaway, a sack, a pick, a scoop and score, whatever else it might be. They're getting more opportunities. Again, may not work, but everyone focuses on it like they need to get the shutout or something. We talk about this on Main Slate all the time. Like they have chances to rack up points on every time they're on the field against the offense, versus this wide receiver at 3K is like you've got some storyline or narrative that wants to make them be out there and catch a bomb. Could it happen? Yes, but that's the key. So can move on. Let's go to these wide receivers, Hoop. You talked a little bit about DJ Moore already, so maybe take it to the other guys on Minnesota, and then also talk about the other side of this game. Any of the interest you have on Minnesota side? Sorry.
Yeah,
Chicago guys, Minnesota side. You got
way more interested in the pass catchers. I mean, they just naturally have an advantage on DraftKings with the scoring. If I'm going to be heavily invested in quarterback captains, which I haven't built teams yet, but most likely that's the direction I'll be going. I want to play a majority of these guys, and DJ Moore at 10-4. It looks like an overprice, but it's easy to play these guys. It's easy to play the core. We don't have an expensive running back to play, so he'll get ownership. I'm interested in him. I like the connection that he has with Fields. Addison at 8,200. He's showing the big play upside. Like he can have a 50-yard touchdown. He can score multiple touchdowns. I think it definitely makes sense. The one I'm probably the least interested in, but I will have some, is KJ Osborne. It's kind of fallen out of favor in this passing game. I mean, you have Addison. You have our guy Powell kind of coming on a little bit. You have TJ Hawkinson. You have Oliver, who they used a little bit last week. Osborne is the one that I'm probably the least interested in, but I will have some of him. Powell is going to be pretty popular at 2K. I've been playing the guy a lot, so I'll stick with him. But I do think some of those pivots make sense. We'll talk about Oliver when we get to tight ends, but I think making sure you get some Oliver over Powell makes a lot of sense. The Bears secondary guys are a little more iffy for me. You got like Mooney, St. Brown, Tyler Scott. I'm going to mostly play these guys on Justin Fields' captain teams. Like, I don't really like them as individual plays all that much. I like them as correlated plays with the quarterback in the captain. Mooney is 4,800, St. Brown 1,600, Scott 1,200. More Fields captain teams than anything else. Don't really care for them as individual plays. Definitely like the Minnesota pass catchers more overall. DJ Moore at 10-4, good with him in all kind of formats. So, yeah, I like the wide receivers quite a bit more than the running backs.
Yeah, Title, talk to us a little bit where you're at on you mentioned Moore as well earlier. You're already in, I think. But Powell, you mentioned about not the captain, more in the flex. I think that's important for this slate, like you said, and then other wide receivers that you can get to here in this spot.
Yeah, I like DJ Moore a lot. I think Powell is going to be very popular. I think there's enough other pivots. I'll probably be underweight because I will be eating the quarterback chalk captains, the DJ Moores. I'd want to get different if I like an Addison captain, then I'd feel better with Powell and play Dobbs, something like that. He's definitely a fine play. That's why he'll be very popular. But you got to get different. Not how much you win not how often you win, when you win, how much you win is always the goal. I like KJ Osborne literally for the exact reason. I totally get Hoop's points. He feels overpriced, but because of that range he's in, he's going to come in the lowest owned, especially if like DJ Moore, Hawkinson, Addison, all of them. The prop's not great, but it's still better than Mooney's. And like I was comparing, do I want to play some Mooney? Do I want to play some Osborne? Because they're both going to be pretty low owned. I do agree with Hoop. I like both of them more. And when we get to these, I guess Brandon Powell as well, Economia St. Brown, I like them plays more when I have the quarterback in the captain spot because you expect them to have a higher chance to catch a couple more passes or catch a touchdown if Fields or Dobbs end up in the captain. But I'm playing Osborne because of his price. He'll be on the field a lot. Yes, he does have a lot of cardio. I do agree with that as well, but ownership will be down. More Addison, KJ Osborne, then probably Equinemius St. Brown. He came back. I think it was either last game or 2 games ago, stepped in for Tyler Scott. He was the wide receiver 3, and he's very cheap. So I'll play St. Brown over Scott. I don't like Scott too much, but 1,600, that's probably my pivot. Give me the Bears wide receiver 3 over the Vikings wide receiver 3 for, I don't know, 1/9 of the ownership or something like that. So I guess that's the hill I'll probably die on the longer I keep talking.
Tyler Violence over here. Not sure I like it, but I actually do agree with you, and I'm on the same spot there right now. Tyler Scott is the guy I like more than ESB there, so I don't hate that call.
You do like St. Brown? You like Scott more than St. Brown?
No. I'm saying I'm with you. I don't like the Tyler Violence, but I'm with you on the take. I'm on Scott. I'm on St. Brown.
St. Brown over Pop. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I like. So just want to note too, somebody asked it. It's a good spot to show it off. Joey says, will there be an NBA show today? I know it's an NFL, but we kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You go to our channel at SHIPIT Nation. We're under 300 subscribers away now from giving away this annual membership. You scroll down, you can see all the past streams and the upcoming. The NBA show is today. Already 2 people waiting. I wonder who that is, but 2 people waiting for a show that's coming up in 1 hour and 15 minutes. So love to see it. We will have the show today.
On a side note, what was the over-under? I know another show podcast set the over-under for number of subscribers. I was curious if you remember that number by chance.
Oh, yeah. We were only going to get to 2,500 subscribers by the end of the year, and we still have over a month. So where's the
Double
Jordan?
baby.
Hey, you took that
Double
shit
down.
personally. Yeah, we're crushing it right now. So we appreciate it. All that support is great. If you haven't yet done so for this show, this channel, for our guy Mayo, smash the like, hit the subscribe. Let's make it happen there. I'm curious. I want to get the chat's question before I go to Hoop on these tight ends, kickers, and defenses. Do you think this game, 43.5 total, do you think it goes over or under? You could put an O, a U. You could type it out, whatever you want. Just let me know in the chat. You think this game goes over or under? Hoop, you said you want to talk about Josh Oliver. What else you got here at this tight end position?
Yeah, I like Josh Oliver tonight, and again, I think it's one of those pivots off of Powell. When people go in and build teams, if you're just using straight up projections, you're going to get a lot of Powell, and you probably don't get a lot of Oliver, or at least they won't be in the same sort of builds. I like Oliver quite a bit. I mean, yeah, I'm going to play Hawkinson obviously at a high level as well, but Oliver was, I think it was like right out of the gate last week. Don't quote me on that, but like they got him involved right away.
It was. I think it was first drive. One of the first.
It's like first drives. He's out there, 4 targets, 4 receptions, found the end zone. Obviously that's his best game of the season by far, but I think they like this guy. I think he has a role moving forward. And, Justin Jefferson obviously not coming back this game. They're going to need some additional pass catching. I'm in on Oliver at the 26, obviously in on Hawkinson. He's, again, as I mentioned earlier when talking about captain, perfect guy for DK scoring. He can get peppered with targets. He has the outs to get there without finding the end zone. A lot of times you need these guys to find the end zone. He can do it without finding the end zone. And those are sort of guys you want on DK. I like Kmet. He's up there at 6,200, higher than he's kind of ever been. So I think he's a fine option. Sitting right there at 62, multiple touchdown upside. He's had big games this season. And that's about it. Like Robert Tonyan's projecting for a low number. I don't know. Like I don't think I really want to go down there. Hawkinson, Kmet, Oliver, I think are all solid options here tonight at the tight end position.
Yeah, this was brought up too. Just I'll let you go here in a sec, title. But someone brought it up earlier, so I'll bring it up for others that don't know. Like the last time these guys played, obviously division game, Minnesota had 21, but it was Bajent, the double agent, came in the middle of the game there. So I don't know. I mean, obviously just not what it expected to be to start off. Could have had something to do with that. They both Fields and him threw a pick. I went back and looked it up just to see, but thought I would bring that note up. What do you got here, title? Your thoughts at tight end? Anything else you want to add there? And then you could take us into kickers and D, and we'll get to the next stuff soon and get to the sim segment after that. We'll do FanDuel too with Hoop after.
Yeah, no, not any hot takes on tight ends. I mean, I like Hawkinson a lot. So does everyone. I think Cole Kmet's fine. The Oliver play, I'm same boat though. That's why I like Roshan Johnson. That's why I like a little St. Brown. Who else is in that range? I guess Bears, Vikings, D when we get there. But it's all about the people surrounded by Powell. I try and look at spots. A lot of times, Tambo, you're like, all right, these two are the chalkiest captains. I'm fading them completely. I can eat chalk in other spots. Today, I knew I wanted to eat more chalk at captain, so I think Powell was the one spot I highlighted that I think I can get different in little spots. And again, I think he's a fine play. It's how you play him in certain lineups is the point. But I like Hawkinson. I think Oliver's totally fine as well. 2 tight end sets. Cole Kmet. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's definitely up there now. 5'8" is Chandler. 6.8K is Herbert. Chandler's going to be good a bit lower owned than Kmet. Herbert and Kmet pretty similar owned. I don't know. No strong stance there. I like DJ Moore a lot because that's Fields' boy. So
yeah, I like that call. Our guy Josh came up with under by 10 points. Everyone said over for like the first 15 people. And then Tokyo Swan said, no, I'm going to jump that number under by 1 billion. Wow. So like it can't even happen. But yeah, I mean, it's I think a lot of people think this game is going over. Josh had another good point too. I like these again. You guys know I'm always digging for tidbits. This one was good. That touchdown from Oliver came when the quarterback scrambled for like 15 seconds and he finally got open. He was signed to be a very good run blocker, and that's what he's done this season so far before that game. So good little note. Doesn't mean it can't happen again. Just noting that it's not like necessarily what the play call was or looking for the guy. It just happened to be the open man on that situation. So I guess a good call. And then they were looking for that pen hoop, and you hooked them up. So.
Back in action. I knew something didn't feel right sitting here, and as I looked at that message, I was like, yep, that solves it all. The pen.
Are you going to mute it on purpose now too? Because so far it's not looking like a good slate for you tonight. You've been.
It might need to. Yeah, we might need to. I can't run clean this whole show. We need a mute session for sure. And I get the thing with Oliver, like that he's signed to be a blocker and all that, but I think that almost goes back to the same concept that we always talk about when you look too deep into the matchups and this wide receiver can't get here tonight because this cornerback's guarding him or covering him. Like, man, it's a $2,600 tight end, and he had 4 targets last week, four catches for a touchdown. Like, anything can happen on these showdown slates.
Yeah, I can't think of a good one for that one, but there might be a saying around Josh Oliver tonight too that's similar to the earlier one. But I don't mind him. I guess I like some of the other plays. I'm pretty much totally in line with title on these punt plays, and I know it's talking about tight end, but it ties in to the other side. The one thing I will say, is I definitely mentioned it earlier, I'll reiterate it, is I like these tight ends up top. I always do. I just think it's a spot you can go. You can see Hawkinson get back in the mix for 2 touchdowns. You can see Kmet be the guy that's Justin Fields' guy. He is too. So is DJ Moore. It could be both of them. Maybe you need that. I don't know. I'm saying, but you could definitely see two of those touchdowns go to a guy like Kmet. Kmet's been involved in the offense, period. Even when Bajent was in there, he was a guy that was getting used as well. It's just something that he sets up well. He's a big dude. He gets open. They call it for him. They can do it. Like Fields did it plenty with him last season. So, and it doesn't look like it's that crazy. Like I'm seeing like 3 to 5% captain ownership for a guy like Cole Kmet. It's not that hard to play 10% of your lineups, Cole Kmet, and have a pretty good night if he's the guy that's needed up top. He's also not super low punt price captain, but he's not super high price like the quarterbacks up top. So I definitely think that's fine. And then I meant to talk about earlier, I flipped on to something else, but just it goes with cheapies tonight, and Roschon Johnson fits in, was what I was saying last time, and it's been still the case. However their setup is, it's just happened that it's been injury bound for them, where it's like always 2 guys, and Roschon is one of them. So, but like you've got one running back that's there today. It's Herbert, where it's if they stay within 7 that they continuously use and pound him out there and make it happen. Doesn't mean Roschon can't find it somewhere else, but typically Roschon makes sense in the build. So if you have the 34-17, I think it was my guy Rob had that earlier, something like that. 31-17, he said. We can run that. I'm curious what the Sims actually say, but just noting it is that that's the point of, that's where I'm saying, like if Chicago's down that heavy, I think that's when you do see a bunch of dump offs to a guy like Roschon Johnson, and then he can become really valuable at 3,000 in that spot. So that's all I would say there. Kickers and Ds, I'll run through quick. You guys can start throwing your scores into the chat. We are going to get to the Sim segment here coming up next. I don't have a lot to add on this. I think it's title-esque in the sense of whichever one comes in further sides. I feel like people are more interested in scoring tonight. And the kickers, I said this earlier, I think it was to Hoop offline, but like even if the defenses are getting played more, they're not necessarily getting played more in different ways. And that's why you're seeing these 5-1 with just the defense on the other side. To our girl DGA, that's why you're seeing defenses involved in a 50K chop, only 4 ways last night. It's because you can get them in there against the quarterback or against the running back and the quarterback of the other team. And people are doing it some, and they'll turn the rule off and optimize. They know that much now, but anybody hand building is kind of looking away from it still. And a lot of people are still just throwing in a few lineups here, throwing in a few lineups there. So I actually am fine with the defenses today. Vikings would be the only one I would consider up top in the captain title. Any further thoughts on kickers and Ds? Go to Hoop for kickers and Ds and FanDuel, and then we'll get to these scores.
Yeah, I don't love it. Like looking in that range, Joseph's 5K, Santos 4.6, 4.4 for Vikings D, 3.8 for Bears D. Just looking at it, I think I'll have more Roschon Johnson 3K. I don't love Mooney at 4.8, but he's definitely going to be lower owned than all of them. I like KJ Osborne. I like some Chandler, Kmet, Herbert. I think that's going to be a dead range. I try and either go a little above it or a little below it. I think I lean Bears side for both over Vikings side for both because I think they'll be a little lower owned. But it's so random at this point, man. So just give me the lower owned piece. If they fit it at this point.
Yeah, and I'm just looking here too. Like the chat just wants us to wear like Alex, my man. This is what everybody wants to happen. Jeff, probably on the sharp side here. This is what we're likely to get tonight. I can just feel it already.
I was waiting for you to ask me, Tambo, because I was like, it looks too good to be true. You know, everyone's saying over. Give me the opposite side every single time. I've learned my lesson too many times jumping on the public, and it always goes downhill.
It's in a dome. These quarterbacks are amazing to watch. They're so fun. They're going to run. They're going to get downs. It's going to be awesome. We're going to make it happen. And then what ends up happening
at halftime.
Fade your initial instinct.
What did you say at halftime, Who?
3-0 at halftime.
Oh, yeah.
Too many people like the over. There's just
27-20, 24.
Hey, I would love, trust me, the way these showdown slates have been going, I'd love to see something like that. Don't get me wrong. Like, man, but I don't know.
This seems to be the most common score coming up, though. Like, this definitely looks legit. The over-under is right around this number.
Yeah.
I could see it, although I do kind of lean to maybe more of like the under. So one thing I was saying about that earlier, though, I will note that, again, looking to get different in large field stuff, do what Title said, do what Hoop, like there's Hoop mentioned too, even like there's a lot of guys down there you can mess around with. I don't like the punt plays nearly as much today, regardless of the game script, because I just feel like I know it's a way to get different, but also you can get overweight on some of these captains and stuff too, or whatever. Like, I think that's the better way and mix guys in, because I think even if it's over or under, who cares? I think it's going to be more of like the high floor, high ceiling guys that are in the mix. And again, it's like an all-star lineup's going to win. It's probably going to be more dupe, but you can do different things, leave money on the table. The defense is in the mix, all that other stuff. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Hoop, your final thoughts, kickers, D's. You already talked about D enough probably, but kickers, if anything, and then FanDuel thoughts, if you have any, before we go to the first score title. You can find the first score on here.
Yeah, in terms of the kickers, like them a little bit more than title. I mean, these guys have had some scores so far this season, and again, you don't need to look at game logs, but with kickers, I think it tells a better story than position players, because with kicking, it's the opportunities they get. Santos 17 fantasy points last game, and then 12 the week before that. So he's had 7 attempts in 2 games. So they're definitely willing to kick it. Joseph's had some pretty big games too. He's been double digits in 4 out of the last 6 games. So a little more interest there. The defenses will be, even though people are saying over, defenses are still going to be over-owned tonight. Again, do what I typically do. Trust the process of what they say. I'm going to put the number in there and let it run. Whatever I get in terms of the defenses. Over on FanDuel, much clearer path as always, and even more so tonight with the quarterbacks being in that top spot. Rushing touchdowns way more valuable. Both these guys can find the end zone on their feet. So Fields and Dobbs are going to be very popular in the MVP spot. That's one thing that stands out. DJ Moore has an expensive price tag. DJ Moore is all the way up to 14K, and he's got to do a lot on FanDuel to pay off that 14. So I don't like him as much on FanDuel. Hockenson at 13, definitely prefer him. The running back similarly priced, Herbert at 11K, Madison at 10.5. They continue to do the same thing with the kickers and defenses, right around 9,500 down to 8,500. KJ Osborne, we talked about him a little bit. He's only 8K on FanDuel, and that kind of stands out as being too cheap for me, 8K for Osborne. So I think he's a solid price point play over there. In terms of full punts, I mean, there's not much. I mean, there's really not much on DK. There's definitely not much over on FanDuel. St. Brown, you guys both like St. Brown. He's 6,500. So he's close to the minimum over there. But it's kind of my thoughts over on FanDuel.
I don't hate that. Yeah, good breakdown too. And I don't hate that price there either. It's obviously a lot more than what we're talking about over on DraftKings, but it's totally different setup over there. So maybe it's a way you can make it different and set your lineup up there. So I don't hate that one. Title, what's the first score you want to run here, man? Let's pull one up and see.
Yeah, actually, I hate the 9 because that's going to
it'll be all kickers. Yeah.
Let's go 13-10.
Oh, God. If this happens.
13-10 or 16-10, Tamma? What do you want?
No, it's fine. That's almost goes to your other way. It could be, but
it's certainly a live. It's a live score. I know everyone wants the over, but this is a very live score for Monday night game between the Bears and Vikings. Hopefully not.
We'll give the people what they want and throw some stupid score in after of like 37-24. But that's just for now. Can you imagine thinking it's going to be 37-24? I can't even wrap my head around that tonight. They're bad, but they're going to make mistakes too. So it can go both ways. I just can't see it getting up near that. I think we're closer to the total. Or way under. I think that's the kind of the 2 ways I'm looking at this tonight. Yeah.
No, I agree. It'd be fun though to see not this. It would not be fun to see this score. Whoever posted this.
If you're in first, it would be.
If you're all in on defenses, you probably would like it.
If the exact score is 37-24, I will give out an annual membership on the next show just for talking 100%. Down on it, because Rob didn't even say that. Rob said 31-17. So, but yeah, if it's 37-24, I'm definitely, man of my word.
If it's 37-24, whoever posted that gets a lifetime membership for free.
Did somebody even post that, or did I just say that? Let's see.
No, I think someone posted it. It was like the first. I saw it. I'm fairly certain. Maybe not.
I'll look up when you guys
maybe we should pivot it and make Alex the man. Give it to the 45-32. That's even more. But we'll stand by it. We'll give it away. And if there's a big one like that, we'll give away another one. I don't care. Listen, the one thing I will say right now, speaking of giving away memberships, I forgot to make a thing earlier. So throw in the chat right now if you're not a member and you would like to have a monthly membership, and let us know what you would do with the money of your first big score. Once you get in the gym, you work out, you get big, you go out and get a score. What are you doing with that money? Let us know in the chat while we run this. Here it is, title. We got the one you set up on there was 13-10, right?
Yep, 13-10 it was.
Ross threw up 13-13 tie.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Man, we get to watch this whole game go 13-13 and then have to watch them struggle in OT and come to a tie game. Come on.
At least we get overtime and get some extra game time to sweat out.
You'll be in the sheets by then.
Yeah.
If it's 13-13, you're going to bed, Hoop. You'll be in bed.
Oh,
and the D's have been cooking all night.
Exactly.
If that's the Hoop already closed the laptop.
Look at that leverage for Vikings D, 17.8.
That DJ Moore leverage, Hoop. It's all DJ Moore tonight. They got him at 8% at the captain, even if you think he's like 10 or 12. I mean, they got him coming in optimally 20% of the time. So for those who don't know, run through it quickly. But we
in a 13-10 game. See, you know what this is a product of, though. All right, I can already tell you. No, it's a product of soft pricing.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Definitely a product. It isn't. No, I mean, it is important to note that he is up there, but it's definitely a product of. It shows you how softly priced the slate is.
Well, just
it's 13-10 game. Yeah, him too. Yeah, yep.
Well, it's part of it. That's part of the softer pricing. Everyone is pretty fairly priced. Besides, you can make an argument against DJ Moore, although he's been this good with Justin Fields. Like, he's definitely been sort of around this. You can dock him and say, he should be 9,400. Yeah, sure. I'm just saying it's not like it's that crazy at 10-4 when you think about this game, this environment with Fields. But beyond him, everyone else is priced pretty accurately, considering, like, I don't know, maybe Addison's a bit up because Justin Jefferson could have been back or something, but I really don't know. It's really a product of the soft pricing, though, like you said, and Powell being the leader of that. He's still coming in higher in the flex in this score as well. He's the one that boosts all the rest of this up. So, Title, do you see anything else here that, or anything else that stands out to you in this spot?
I was geeking at one of those comments. If he won, he'd upgrade the girlfriend was one of his things, but
this guy,
upgrade the girlfriend
and a couple other things.
A couple other things.
First off, you might need to find a new one, and then the second part is just says upgraded once she's done with you. WSOP main event though, that's a good run at it. So
no, nothing. I mean, it was a low scoring game, so Vikings D way up there. Where's Bears D? Unless I'm blind. Oh, it's right there. Chicago Bears 14, so high leverage there. Hates Herbert. I guess that makes sense a little bit in a low-scoring game. Nothing surprised me too much. I want to see the big differences. Let's do a higher-scoring one. You guys pick between the defenses and then like Addison, DJ Moore, Khalil Herbert, because they're really negative leverage. So I want to see how that changes in a higher-scoring game.
Hoop, can you find us a high score for a sec? I'm just looking for something. I think I found the winner. I'm just double-checking it to make sure.
This man said upgrade. People are funny.
27-20. Okay, that's kind of like fair because it might actually happen. I like that one too.
Yeah, something reasonable.
God, we get so many comments. It's like I cannot go back and find it. I feel good about it. I know. Let me just try one more second. I apologize. This is my fault too, by the way. I should have been on top of this faster, but too busy trying to come up with wordplay on DJ Moore will make you poor. So I can't really focus on everything at the same time. You got to give me a little credit here. Let me see. Man, I can't find it, but I'm giving it to him anyway. So this one, M. Petrini Jr., non-member, can't afford it. I'd use it to buy an annual membership for you guys and then paying off as much debt as I can. Man with a plan, but also was here from the start. I just couldn't find the comment in the very beginning, but a part of this is the process. You don't just get to drive to the gym and say, I went to the gym today. You actually have to go in the doors, put in the work, get the workout in, and then come back out and say there's one day down. It's part of putting in the work, the process. You can't afford a membership. We know not everybody can afford it, and that's okay. That's the whole point. That's why when you go over here, we set it off the top. If you can't afford it, that's fine. Watch all our shows. They're all free. There is no secret shows or behind the scenes or any crazy stuff. We're in the Discord with our members. There's tons of members in that Discord. That's why it's the place to be. You can read the testimonials. People talk about it in the chat. But if you're not a member and you can't get in right now, you can go to shipitnation.com, sign up for free, and keep putting in the work. We're going to be giving away anybody that signs up their email this week. We're going to give them the 40-minute showdown course. We're going to segment that out from the 4-hour course that Hoop and I recorded and give you this showdown course for free. So you guys can go do that. Check that out. What was the score again, Hoop, here now? I'm just going back to it for the inputs. It was 27-20.
27-20 in favor of Minnesota.
Nobody got the Bears winning tonight either, right? Even though the spread's what it is. Like, nobody's got them winning, I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think it gets me to a 5-1 or nothing, like I said earlier, but I do think that it's possible.
Oh, yeah. What's the spread in this game? I guess I should probably know. Is it
3?
3, yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yet that's what I'm saying. Yet almost again, that was another. So here's the what's our guy in Discord, Slappy. He's got the tinfoil hat on. He would tell you it's obvious. There's no way. You got to bet the under. Everyone's on the over. Bet the under and bet the +3 on Chicago. There's your Slappy parlay of the day. You get in on that one. There's no way you can lose. Roger Goodell will call it in if he has to, just to make it happen. But that's definitely the one that's going to happen. And by the way, M. Petrini, reach out to me, info@shipitnation.com. You just have to screenshot your YouTube account, send it to us. We'll get you in so that you're able to get in tonight, actually. So you can check out NBA, NFL, get in that Discord, everything that comes along with a monthly membership. That's awesome. So congrats to you. Here it is, Hoop. Justin Fields still pops off the page. I mean, he's already projected to be up there. Just validates that he's going to be a good captain, similar with Joshua Dobbs. Looks like Hawkinson is pretty close there. DJ Moore just keeps popping up, though. So he's a guy that gets moved up the board. Brandon Powell, even more so, I think, at flex, right? What was he? 23 and up to 35. Yeah, so basically just validates what we were expecting. But this is what I was kind of saying earlier, why I think it's going to be a heavily duplicated night, is it's all works out to the same stuff. You can fit all the same things tonight. So I think a lot of people end up on this. Hoop. Anything else you want to add there?
Yeah, it's just crazy how it's two wildly different scores, but the players that are popping are essentially the same. You know, that's the one thing that definitely stands out to me. I mean, it's very similar to what we just saw, a completely different sort of game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the other stuff I didn't notice too much, but we didn't go back on the other one. But these punts, like look at the total rates. They're coming in less than 10%. So again, you can easily get they're coming in ownership wise. They're coming in a lot more. Like look at not a full punt in Chandler, but Chandler, the defense is, one defense up here stays pretty solid. But like I said with Minnesota, but nothing with Chicago. But all these guys that we're taking shots on, they're coming in with 2 to 5% ownership and looking like somewhere in that range is about right. So it's like they're not going to pop very often. But if they do, and you got the right spot, that could be enough. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Title, any final thoughts from you before we get out of here?
Yeah, no, there's final takeaways from this. It looks like it does not like the running backs outside of Roschon Johnson. Likes defenses over kickers a little bit. Doesn't like Addison as much, but likes the DJ Moores, Hawkinsons, Osborns. It's a fun slate. It is. I like it a lot when two quarterbacks can use their legs, can get there in various ways, because then way more options open up. Again, if you play Stafford at captain, almost everyone's going to play two pass catchers with them. And if Stafford does end up as the captain, it's harder to get different than the rest. Today, I think you can run a Fields naked. You can pair him with 3 pass catchers because he has a lot of cheap ones there too. So also, I guess last thing, Tambo, and I want your final thoughts heading in is I never thought I'd expect a 50,000 winner, only chopped 4 ways with the lineup not even that crazy. Are we at the point now with everyone just leveling themselves so much in every single way, trying to be different, where you got to then go to that third step and it's like, all right, let's leave no money. Because so many very good 150 maxers. I do this plenty of times too. I don't 150 nearly as much in Showdown, but we'll make sure to leave at least 100, 200, 300, not even be able to get that exact lineup. And some of these lineups, man, are not crazy at all, and they're winning a lot of money. So final thoughts there is just keep trying to improve, keep trying to learn. That's what Hoop talked about earlier. That's what I'm trying to do right now because, the game's changing.
Yeah, I do think there's something to that more on main slates. Like, again, we didn't talk about this, not on this show really, but like, for example, Jonathan Taylor, there's no way you could play him at 35% ownership. But what about when he comes in at half that at 18%? Like, that's, again, just another thing. People are definitely leveling themselves on that. There is something to be said. It was Thanksgiving weekend, the holidays. Like, it's something like maybe some people were trusting what they're hearing more versus the actual stuff, or vice versa, trusting the data more versus what they're hearing around the industry. I don't know, but I do think there is something to be said for that. Just want to note quick, my guy, Steven Neighbors, shout out to you. Always appreciate it. He says, does Run the Sims account for the FanDuel contest? It does. If you go back to slates here, again, this is just one feature of Run the Sim. It's an awesome site. It's Prop Sniper is amazing. The Sim Runner, the Pro version, which you can turn on here and do Sim Runner Pro. But just to show it, you can go down to FanDuel and find your slate here. Chicago, Minnesota, single game. That's why I say it's always the slates first. Now we're on FanDuel. Change the inputs, the settings, all of that, but it's got the different pricing on there. So that's why we do the segment, but we don't want to spend all day on it. If you guys want to be a member, go to runthesims.com. Use the promo code SHIPIT. Hoop, final thoughts from you, my friend, before we get out of here?
Yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully we get a entertaining game. Whoever put in those terrible scores of like 13-9 and 13-10, hopefully that does not come true. Hopefully we get a nice, high-scoring, fun game and, provide us some entertainment and some winnings tonight. Get those logos back up to the top. It's always fun to get it one night like we had last night. Let's get it right back up there, run it straight back. That's what I'm looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully, if it's me, and if it's not me, I'll be a member. Somebody else out there, one of you guys, I'm fine with that as well. Again, remember, last chance. Can't state it enough. Our intro entry-level price to the market was $49 a month. Now, this is only for 1 month versus those locked in for life with some additional benefits. We take care of our original OG founding family members. But just to note, if you want to try it out for less than $50, $49, get access to everything that you see on the site. You'll be able to get in today until lock at Monday Night Football. Go to shipitnation.com, put in the code Turkey20, gets you it for $49. And then from there, if you can't afford it, don't want to get in right now, are unsure, whatever it might be, that's no problem as well. You can go there and you can enter it in so that you put just your email and you'll be able to get that showdown course sent out to you. We don't have secret shows, but this will be a secret link that we will send out to you that you can get access to that portion of the course, just as a little giveaway over the holidays, Cyber Monday, all that. We want to take care of as many people as possible. Thank you guys so much for watching, supporting everything along the way. If you want to get one of those hoodies, check that out as well. Hoop is shipping those out tomorrow. That's going to do it for this one, guys. For Title, for Hoop, for myself, ToeTagginTambo. Let's ship it!